Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now November 5th of 2025, and just yesterday was the New York City mayoral election, and I'm sure that you all witnessed exactly who won that election. Unfortunately, it was Zohran Mamdani to become the new mayor of New York City, and this is me, by the way, being very clear that I do not support this guy's views at all whatsoever. But when we're looking at a lot of celebrities out there, when we're looking at people like Robert De Niro, who continuously decides to drag politics into his acting career and forcing it on to the general public, this is where it really goes out of hand. And we know one thing about Robert De Niro right now is that we all know that he is really going off the rails and saying some of the most crazy things possible right now to the general public, especially after the victory of Zohran Mamdani. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Mamdani right now is that not only is he continuing to say such crazy things about President Donald Trump, he's also going after Trump supporters, saying absolutely horrific things about them as well. And this is exactly why this man is so divisive. This is exactly why he's very divisive. Not just based on what he says, but also based on his policies. Now let's go over to Robert De Niro. Now, one thing about Robert De Niro is that if you have a different political opinion, then, well, basically you are ridiculed, you are made a mockery of, and that's simply, what it's all about. Now, what's interesting here, yet again, has a lot to do with Robert De Niro's behavior and his overall way of delivering his anger toward the general public about those calling out Zohran Mamdani and his policies and people having a different political opinion for about who should have been the next New York City mayor. Now, what's interesting about this is that with many actors that represent Hollywood actively dealing with tons of backlash due to getting way too involved in politics and acting like politicians, one major development now involves more to do with Robert De Niro openly attacking the general public after Zohran Mamdani's victory for the New York City mayor election. Now, Robert De Niro recently delivered the following. I have never been more hopeful for the Democratic Party now that we have won, and to all of those out there that are shouting out their doubts about the fine young man, Mamdani, you are nothing but racists and bigots who don't have an education on what's best for this city. We have been long overdue for a rightful mayor that finally speaks the truth and calls out the insanity coming from President Donald Trump and his supporters. We have been dealing with these racists in this city since 2016, and I am more than great, and I am more than thankful that someone like Mamdani is going to put an end to that noise by delivering common sense to New York once again. If you are against Mamdani and his views, I don't think you are an open person, and quite honestly, I think you are very close-minded, with a very limited view on how things operate in the city. It is about time that we have a level-headed mayor that will steer our city and country in the right direction. It's about time that someone holds the courage to face Trump's racist supporters by calling them out on a daily basis. This is the mayor that we need. We need to face these bigots day in and day out, and I'm sure that Trump is going to have some very nasty things to say about Zohran Mamdani on his victory. All I know right now is that the MAGA gang, they are shaking in their boots over Mamdani's victory today, and I am beyond thrilled once he steps in on January 1st. If you think Mamdani is a threat to this city politically, I don't know what else to say other than you are driven by racism, and that's a fact. He will serve as the greatest New York mayor in history after he delivered his promises to millions of New Yorkers, and if you doubt that, perhaps, you need to really better understand where Mamdani comes from. Anyone who falls for the MAGA narrative about Mamdani, I suggest you take the time to educate yourself about this young man who is going to bring a lot of good to this city. And if MAGA wants to say they are leaving New York, then leave already. We don't need your business here. Small business owners don't want your business. Now guys, let me just stop there for a moment about Robert De Niro's long-winded rant about Trump supporters calling out Mamdani's policies and having different political opinions and views. This is exactly how Robert De Niro acts all the time when you have a different political opinion and you just want to display your thoughts about specific things. Now, the thing that Robert De Niro is getting wrong here is that there's a lot of small business owners in New York City a lot of those that I know that are from there that are actually deciding to move and go down south or go out west to bring their business elsewhere, especially after, you know, the whole Zohran Mamdani victory. And it's not that small business owners are, you know, shutting out, you know, people that are associated with specific political views. It's all about their career. It's all about their well-being and their livelihood. That's what it's really all about. That city, New York City, it's really, quite frankly, honestly, become so expensive to even live there. That's why a lot of people are leaving in droves. Now, Robert De Niro continues, if you want to continue to call him just a democratic socialist, then that shows your bigotry views from the MAGA gang that hold no substance. We are finally opening up a new chapter for New York that says no to Trump supporters and F you to MAGA. And again, there's Robert De Niro dropping the F-bomb as he typically does, and it's also tiresome and exhausting. And this is exactly why people will never support Robert De Niro again. This is exactly why people are leaving New York, for example. It's way too expensive. You have mayors like Mamdani coming in, bringing in, yes, these socialist policies, and that's exactly what he aims to do. But we know one thing about this as well, is that Robert De Niro is really trying to just divide the city even further, divide the country even further. It's celebrities, it's actors like him that are making things worse, alright? There's no doubt about that, by the way. I think that we can mostly agree on that front. Now, it is finally time, he says, that we have a new face for the Democratic Party, and I would love this man to run for president someday in the future. Alright, that's how Robert De Niro closed there. So, he actually believes that by saying all of these, you know, crazy, inflammatory comments, it's going to bring, you know, any kind of value back to his acting career. I highly doubt it. If anything, it's going to cause more people to leave Robert De Niro's work and never support him ever again. And that's exactly why, by the way, New York is so divided, is that you have Mamdani coming in as the mayor now, delivering all of these, you know, overblown policies, crazy policies that a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, do not actually agree with. Small business owners do not agree with. And look, we know that at the same exact time, there's a lot of division going on right now ever since Mamdani won the New York mayor election. So there's a lot to talk about this because we have a lot of those celebrities, a lot of those in the media, you know, using this basically as leverage to push their anti-Trump messaging campaign, and it's very much tiring, right? People are tired of celebrities lecturing the general public. People are just tired of them not sticking to what they do, whether it's acting, writing, or directing, or singing, or creating music, whatever it may be. They don't stay in their lane, and fortunately, we do have a handful of those deciding to stay in their lane. You got people like Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even though he was once a governor of California, he still stays in his lane pretty much, you know, for the most part. And on top of that, we also now have Nicki Minaj calling out all the nonsense and the insanity coming from, you know, one side of the political spectrum. So again, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about all of this below in the comments. Anything ranging from all these celebrities dragging politics into their careers and dividing not just the country even more, but also dividing New York City now to a record level that we have not witnessed before. And I would like to hear what you all have to say about that below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.